Kim Reynolds, Iowa's influential governor, expected to endorse DeSantis. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds is expected to endorse Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in the Republican presidential primary on Monday, throwing her significant clout in the state behind him as he tries to make up ground against former President Donald Trump before the state's caucuses in January. The endorsement is set to take place at a DeSantis campaign rally in Des Moines on Monday evening that both governors will attend, according to 3 people familiar with the plans. The rally has been announced, but the endorsement has not, outside of media reports. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than the endorsement was first reported by the Des Moines Register and NBC News. Reynolds, who is very popular with Republicans in her state, is also chair of the Republican Governors Association. It is unusual for sitting governors to weigh in on the caucuses, the first Republican presidential nominating contest, before they take place, and she had previously said she would stay neutral. But Reynolds is one of the few governors with whom DeSantis has had a true bond in recent years, with the two aligned on matters related to policy on COVID-19 and abortion, among other things. Her interest in his candidacy has been clear for months, including to Trump, who criticized her for not falling in line behind him. People who have spoken with Reynolds say she has had some frustrations with the DeSantis campaign's stumbles. But she is enraged with Trump, who has twice attacked her personally, according to those people. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than some of Reynolds' advisors had cautioned her against wading into the race, according to 2 people familiar with the discussions, suggesting it was a heavily lopsided risk-reward calculation given Trump's dominant lead in the polls, and his penchant for vindictiveness. But she decided in the end it was worth it. Trump criticized Reynolds earlier this year after growing frustrated by her public appearances with DeSantis. Later, he lashed out again, saying he didn't invite her to his events. While Reynolds stayed silent after those incidents, she did respond on social media when Trump criticized the kind of restrictive abortion legislation that both she and DeSantis have signed into law. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than DeSantis has pointedly defended Reynolds from those attacks, calling her one of the best governors in the country. I think that Donald Trump's attacks on Kim Reynolds are totally out of bounds, he told reporters at the Iowa State Fair this summer. I couldn't disagree with it anymore. And she's done really nothing but do a great job. She's never done anything to him. But that's just how he operates. The endorsement comes just before the 3rd presidential debate Wednesday in Miami, where DeSantis will try to both close ground on Trump and separate himself from Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and former United Nations ambassador who was tied with him in Iowa in the latest Des Moines Register, NBC News, Mediacom poll in the state. The DeSantis campaign declined to comment, and a spokesperson for Reynolds did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Earlier in the year, Trump's team, in private discussions, seemed to be in denial about the fact that Reynolds and DeSantis had a unique relationship, and that an endorsement might be in the offing. But that changed as Reynolds appeared with DeSantis in the state, and there was some overlap between her team and the Super Political Action Committee supporting DeSantis. So for months, Trump's team has been girding for a potential Reynolds endorsement of DeSantis, particularly as DeSantis has suggested she might be a vice presidential candidate on his ticket. Trump turned to his Truth Social platform to respond to media reports about the endorsement, calling Reynolds disloyal for siding with DeSantis. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than if and when Kim Reynolds of Iowa endorses Ron DeSanctimonious, who is absolutely dying in the polls both in Iowa and nationwide. It will be the end of her political career in that MAGA would never support her again, just as MAGA will never support DeSanctimonious again. He added, they can now remain loyal to each other because nobody else wants them. Reynolds is deeply protective of her state, and some close to her believed she would be unlikely to endorse DeSantis unless his campaign showed signs of progress. The decision to endorse would appear to be a sign that Reynolds thinks she can make a meaningful difference. Historically, the Iowa caucuses have been volatile affairs with significant movement as the voting draws near. DeSantis has increasingly banked his entire candidacy on a strong showing in Iowa, having moved a sizable share of his staff to the state. Crossing Trump could be perilous for Reynolds, despite her popularity. In August, after the former president had begun attacking her, Reynolds appeared alongside DeSantis at a sprint car race outside Des Moines.